This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Danilo's free. He goes to get wide. Edge of the box. Foley. Yes! Great goal! What a hit from Arena! It's wide! They've only gone and done it again! Forest back in the lead. Rewarded James White. Awoniyi scores! And the City ground goes ballistic! Forest are in the Premier League!
Hello and welcome to this edition of Red Side of Trent as we come to you after Nottingham Forest 1-1 draw with Liverpool at the City Ground last night, which, depending on which way you look at it, is either a very good point in terms of Forest securing European qualification against possibly the best side of the country, or a rather damaging blow to Forest's ambitious title hopes, depending on which way you're with your glass half full or half empty. But I'm delighted to be joined by Reece Lane and Danny Trent. Firstly, how are you guys? Thank you for coming.
Do you want to go, Reece?
Yeah, I'm good, guys. How are you two?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Cheers, thank you very much.
Good stuff. We'll dive right in. And Danny, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to give you the team. So we went back to 4-2-3-1, pretty much one change from the Wolves game, and that was Dominguez coming out in place of Ryan Yates. What did you make of the team, first and foremost? Were you expecting the 4-2-3-1? Were you expecting three at the back, maybe? Were you expecting wingers, centre midfielders on the wing, like at Liverpool away, for example? What did you sort of think Nuno was going to go with, and what were your initial thoughts on the team?
Initially, I thought he was going to go with the same lineup that started at Wolves. I thought it was going to go. One reason was the team he picked at Luton, and then the other reason was I just thought they were the lads that played against Wolves deserved the start. And if I'm honest, I thought it was quite harsh on Dominguez to come out for Yates. I think arguably he's been one of the better players in the recent weeks, and I think personally, I imagine he'd been gutted. But it's one of them, isn't it? You can't. Nuno's got the credit in the bank to not question him with his team selections at the minute, and I felt maybe in hindsight, I would still opted for Dominguez personally, but that might be my opinion on Yates. But I don't know. For me, I feel like Dominguez was harshly done by, and I imagine he's feeling a bit gutted today.
Yeah, it was certainly a bold call, and but I have to say, I mean, Reece, pretty quickly. I mean, within 10 minutes, it was all. Well, mostly Liverpool from the get-go, really. And it was sort of like, okay, how are Forest going to sort of see this out? It seems to have stepped up. But the first chance we got, the first counter-attack, Hudson-Odoi gets the ball ahead of Mo Salah. And then within two passes, the balls with Chris Wood in the penalty box and Forest 1-0 up. Talk me through the goal. And on a personal note, where did that goal sort of stand for you in terms of big City Ground moments?
The goal, first of all, is a typical Nuno goal, isn't it? It's just get the ball as quickly forward as we can. Like you say, Christian, Hudson-Odoi nicks it off Salah on the halfway line. It's one pass to Elanga, and then Elanga's passing to Chris Wood, weighted to perfection, that pass. And then the finish from Wood, what a finish, just a man in confidence wanted to. He just spotted it in the corner against one of the best keepers in the world. He made it look easy. So, yeah, just a typical goal. Like I said, on the Nuno back to front as quickly as we can. It's in the back of Liverpool's net, and there was a little bit shell shock there, wasn't it? Because to be honest, they'd started a better team. I thought we'd looked a bit nervy up until that goal, but then Murillo nearly smashed one in the top corner. So it was like there was on the ropes a little bit. And there was points in that first half where they was arguing amongst themselves. Van Dijk was shouting at them and at certain players. So, yeah, where did it rank? Moments. It's, it was an incredible moment, wasn't it? But I was like, to be honest, I was so kind of focused on just winning the game. I just thought it was going to be a moment in the game, and I just wanted us to just to win the game, really. So I didn't go like overboard as some people obviously do nowadays of chucking themselves down roads and stuff. I think, like I still hark back to the Villa one because that was so late and you kind of knew then you was probably going to win the game. But with obviously what would have been still 90 minutes to play because they added on 8 in total, didn't they, at that time? So yeah, but yeah, I mean the roof come off, didn't it? And yeah, it was such a good goal from us, and it's just a shame when they was shell shot that we kind of couldn't get that second, really.
Yeah, I think had Murillo pinged that one in, I think half of Upper Bridge would have found a way to
I
get.
think the roof would have been probably wedged in on Meadow Lane's pitch if that had gone in the top corner.
That would have been utterly sensational. But no, that was Chris Wood's 13th goal of the season, and he's second on his left foot now after scoring 2 in 2 games for him now, 2 league games. Unbelievable strike. And Danny, really, until half time, Forest got to the interval relatively okay. Liverpool having a lot of shots from outside the box. They weren't really doing much. Salah was largely quite quiet, quite nullified by Williams on the right-hand sides. Were you sort of thinking this is deja vu sort of thing? Were you pretty confident going into the break that Forest could see it out, or were you expecting a reaction second half?
See, I think for the possession that Liverpool had, it's like the chances they had was outside the box. And I know people are upon about, can Forest sustain this style of play? For me, I think it's exciting the way we play because even though we were limited with possession in the first half, I still thought we looked more of a threat. There were chances where Hudson-Odoi got in behind Trent and it like ricocheted off his knee. And if Elanga would have, it wasn't his fault, it was like, but that could have just dropped to him. And then it's 2-0. And like you say, you got the Murillo shot. I just think when people say it's boring and this, that, and the other, I'm like, it looks like when we get the ball, we want to score. We don't want to do 50 passes. We don't want to keep. I watched Arsenal against Man U at FA Cup. The chances they had on edge area just to let one go, and they're just like, no, we can't because we're told we need to keep the ball. We need to pass it square. We need to do this. So in the first half, I thought it was comfortable. Obviously, they've got quality. You know you're not going to play against Liverpool, Man City's, Chelsea's, and they're not going to create anything. But in that first half, we looked comfortable. And it's one of them, isn't it? It's rinse and repeat. We've done it. We know we can see the games out by the way we play. So no matter what possession we surrender, it's almost like we're comfortable without it. It's not like it's something we're not used to. So, yeah, I was quite confident going into the second half. That I'd say it's more, I don't think we were going to lose the game. I think that's what we like under Nuno. I never feel like we're going to lose the game.
No, I would agree with that. I felt, as a few of my mates were saying before the games, what happens if Liverpool win 3-0? I was like, Liverpool aren't going to score 3 goals at City Ground. That's just not going to happen. And to have the confidence that Forest could be that defensively astute is pretty remarkable, really, considering how far we've come in even 12 months, really. But Reece, obviously, after second half commenced, Liverpool did up the ante quite significantly. They were finding space a lot easier, I think it's fair to say, and they're putting Forest in all sorts of awkward positions. And eventually, Forest buckled. First goal we conceded since the 14th of December, I think it is. And so frustratingly, it's from a set piece. What's your sort of take on the goal? Because obviously we had a bit of a chat in a group about this, but what's your sort of view? Oh, you're on mute, mate.
I might retract what I was going to say there. Then. I'll probably be in the minority here, but you've got to be honest to your opinion. I thought Sels should have been stronger, mate, to be honest, because the ball's not whipped in with pace; it's hung up and it's in his area. Now, I know fans will listen to this or watch now will be screaming about Gakpo pinning him, which for me is not a foul in my opinion, but he's a bit flat-footed and he's got to be on his toes. And if he's on his toes, he can come out and get that because it is right in his area. And to be honest, the defenders as well have got to take some blame because you've got to, you watch Jota, 5'10", maybe not even that, and he's won a header in the box. And that's poor. And you could also say as well, like before Gakpo pins him, someone's got to be on him. But this is obviously the problem with like zonal mark. It's not man to man, is it? So. Yeah, it's just such a cheap goal. It was similar to the one that Bowen scored past us last season, if you can remember, at West Ham, where it was kind of into, and it's like a little, I'm not going to say midget because they're not midgets either, but someone who's really small, it's just not even really jumped and just like nudged it in. I know I'm being a little bit harsh because we're going to talk about, obviously, after that, and Sels kept us in the game and got us a point in the end. He was tremendous, but I just felt he was a little bit flat-footed for that, and he probably should have come before Gakpo can pin him. And to be honest, if you look at the next corner they got, he is on his toes and he comes out and punches that. And if you look at the chance, what he saved from Jota, he's on his toes, he's straight out, and that's where he makes the block for that. I know that's not a corner, but no, I can't moan at Sels. He's been the keeper of the season, hasn't he, in the Premier League? You know, I can't think of someone else to challenge him, to be honest. I know people, you know, because he's got the most clean sheets. I know Pickford's maybe one behind or two behind, but we're miles above Everton. So I can't be too harsh on him, but I just thought for that, I would have said that was his area to come and claim for me personally.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is that if we win the first contact to that corner, it's all null and void. So it's a combination of things, as always. I mean, I still think it's a little hard.
It's just because it's hung up. It was in the air for so long.
Yeah.
And you know, as it was like dropping, I was like, oh, just please come out and grab it. Because when it's in the air, you think it's going to like just like it did against Newcastle, where it just hit somebody because everyone's a bit like, who's going to take responsibility? And then like Isak banged it in. And it's just frustrating from our perspective because it was a cheap goal and we've prided ourselves on set pieces this season. We've been brilliant at them overall. You know, like we discussed before, if someone had banged in a 25-yarder, you'd probably accept it. But we're just greedy, aren't we, at the minute? Like I said, I can't have a go at Sels, like in terms of, because in the end, he gained us a point in the end because he made several magnificent saves after that.
Kelly?
Yeah, I'm with Reece on that. I think I'm in the mindset that's your area. That's the area. If the marking zone on which to do, that's the area your keeper comes and collects it. And the fact is, the only thing that stopped him getting the ball is this, what people are saying was a foul on him by Gakpo, but it wasn't. It just wasn't strong enough. And I think if he does his job, he gets there. I mean, they looked at him the way Murillo looked at him. It's like, how come you're not there? Like, I think that's it. That is on him. But like, we're picking holes, aren't we? That's how good we're getting. We're having to try and not find a fault. At the end of the day, we'll watch a game. Not everything goes well. We pay to support them. You can have an opinion on something. It was absolutely outstanding after that, but he'll go in today or whenever they evaluate it, and he'll go, yeah, that probably one is on me a bit, and that's football, isn't it? You do that. Like if we was on the other foot, we're probably looking at Alisson's chance, and you probably Wood's goal. You're thinking, could Alisson save that? Like it's how you look at football, isn't it? So it's not the worst mistake ever. It's not. It's like more the frustration, like you say, that's a set piece. But we reacted well, didn't we? And he reacted well. That's the main thing. He reacted to it.
Yeah, he's far away from a Harley. I mean, like Danny said, we are nitpicking, but that's the standards we set ourselves this season. Because we've been so good, we are the smallest nitpicking. So, yeah.
That's got to that point, isn't it? I still think it's a little harsh to blame Sels personally. I just think that I'm more annoyed that one, we haven't won the first contact, and two, a defender hasn't moved Gakpo away from Sels. You can say Sels has to be stronger and put Barge out the way, whatever. The way the referee was going, had Sels done that, you probably would have given a penalty there and then. Yeah. So it's difficult to say. But yeah, it's just frustrating. I think, like you said, Reece, we're at a point now where it is nitpicking. It's the first goal we conceded I think it was a month to the day, since the last goal we conceded, which is incredible. We think the run we had over Christmas in December, all the teams we played, it's superb. But you know, after that, Danny, obviously it did get a bit hairy, and one thing I saw, which I thought in the ground looked a bit soft, and I felt even the Liverpool players felt it looked soft. Bear in mind, no one contested it really. Obviously, when Salah goes through on goal, Anderson and Williams marshal him away, shall we say. He goes to ground, I think, very easily. Now, I didn't realise there had been such I mean, this is probably a Liverpool fan thing more than anything else, but such furore over the incident. They think they've been robbed. They think PGMOL is out to get them, which I find absolutely laughable going by some of the decisions we saw yesterday. Did you think it was a penalty?
No, not at all. It's one of them. It's like, I think Murillo ends up clearing the ball eventually, but the fact is, Nico don't really challenge him. Anderson gets shoulder to shoulder, knocks off the ball. If Murillo's not there, Anderson comes away with the ball. So it's only like a physical tackle in the middle of the park where you've just been out-muscled. You just get out-muscled. And like I say, if Murillo's not there, Anderson just picks the ball up and you're thinking, oh, God, that's an unbelievable defending because he's literally got his shoulder in, knocked him out of the way. You don't always have to make contact with the ball when in that position first. Sometimes you can get your body in and play the ball after, as long as it's not like your legs have tripped him up. Do you know what I mean? It's just he's physically knocked him off the ball. Salah's off balance. Like you say, I think you're just looking at it's a nothingness in it, and it's just something they wanted to highlight. That was a bit of probably feeling sorry for themselves that they've been cheated out. But the fact was, no, there's nothing in that. That doesn't. I don't even think that gets given any. Like if there's not going to get given Liverpool against Forest, it's never going to get given.
Probably a good way of looking at it, especially given our issues, shall we say, the refereeing bodies. Reece, anything to add?
Yeah, that is nitpicking from their side, and like Danny said, feeling sorry for themselves. Yeah, never a penalty in a million years. Just bloody Jota, isn't it? Every time.
Yeah,
So it's 7-7 against us.
He's
the new Gordon Rhodes, isn't he? Yeah.
Scored 2 against us for Wolves, and I had a look at each game. So he's obviously the FA Cup win, and then we've obviously now played Liverpool 6 times since coming back up, and he has missed 2 of them games. But 7-7 against us, so he's firmly on the nemesis list. And to be honest, I thought he changed the game for them.
Big time.
Yeah, I thought they looked a lot more threatening.
And Tsimikas, to be fair, I'm not a massive fan of him, but I thought he added something totally different, didn't he?
Well, I mean, Robertson was that much of a disaster last night. I mean, he was like Gaetan Bong. He played last night. He was dire. I agree with Danny. Tsimikas was a lot better than him, and probably because Jota positioned himself more centrally when they had, Gakpo and Diaz. There was kind of interchange you wanted from that left side, and they're not really. There's probably like poacher like as Jota are, the more wingers who come inside. So yeah.
Yeah, it could happen to a nicer bloke with Andrew Robertson, could it really? But Reece, obviously, after that, it did become a bit similar to I said to you before the game, didn't I? In the nav, I said that the thing that worries me most is if we have a 20-minute spell like we did against Wolves, where they managed to carve open numerous chances. Because I had worried that they will, if Liverpool had that opportunity, they would score. The last 20 minutes pretty much was like that, but Sels was just a one-man wall, it felt like, where there was saves from Szoboszlai, there was saves from the one from Gakpo was outstanding, save from Jota. Obviously, the one time he was beaten, Aina was there to clear it off the line. Were you sort of thinking it's a matter of time, or did you sort of hold out hope?
Well, 7 minutes come up, didn't they? And I thought, it would have been probably 3 if Liverpool were 1-0 up. But, it did feel that way. I think what didn't help us was the fact that Yates got booked, because that kind of nullified his game. It wasn't even a booking, in my opinion. I get why you might be saying, persistent fouling, but that wasn't a card for me. And that obviously limits his game because, he can't then get up, play his backside and be a pain as much. You know what I mean? So wasn't surprised. No surprise really let Dominguez come on for him. Yeah, but I mean, Sels, like you said, Christian, the one from Jota where I mentioned earlier, he was straight off his line. That was a brilliant instinctive save. The one Gakpo down low, that has gone through a lot of bodies. That easily could have snuck in the corner. And I don't think any of us would have probably had any complaints if it had. That was a superb save. The 2 what he probably should save are the Salah one, the curler, which is straight at him, really, pushes it over. And the Szoboszlai one, I think, is going wide, but he just gets a little touch, doesn't it? But there was just some incredible defending last night, wasn't there? And Sels showed that with them saves there. The Murillo one, we've got to mention the 2-on-1. I mean, first half. I think we were all like, how the hell has it got to that situation? Then he did that. And there was one from Van Dijk in the second half where Elanga was one-on-one with him. And he just waited and waited for Elanga to make his move and just towed it away from him. And it was like, yeah, you can see why he's the defender he is. But yeah, like I said, in the end, Sels probably got us a point, mate. Well, he did, because a couple of them saves were superb. If the Jota one and the Gakpo one had gone in, you wouldn't have had any complaints at all. So yeah, it's a very good point for us, mate. You know, obviously because it was one of them, we all wanted it to be this like really, really special night, which it was. But obviously, get the 3 points. But you know, we've got to realise, and as much as I hate saying this, these are the league leaders. Nobody else has beaten them this season. You can argue with whoever you want, but they're probably the best side in the world at the minute. The top of the Champions League. There isn't going to be some, you know, revolutionary team from Venezuela, is there, better than these? It's just not. You know, when people say best team in Europe, it kind of annoys me because it's like, well, there's not a better team in South America than them, is there? So for us to take 4 points from a possible 6 against them this season is a testament to us, and it's a very good point, and it'll be an even better point if we go out and beat Southampton on Sunday.
Yeah, that's it. I think if we back it up, I think that'll make it like even more better. But yeah, it's you talking about Van Dijk. It reminded me of when we had him in the cup and Spence up against him, and Van Dijk just basically just went no, just moved him aside.
It just don't sprint, does he? It's like this is why I love Felipe so much, because it's just positional sense was just so good. Thiago Silva was amazing at it when we played Chelsea. They just don't need to sprint. They just know the positions where to be in, the timing. You know, incredible. And
it wasn't so good for the first goal, though. I think he's getting too much space on first goal.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
I love Van Dijk, but in that, I just think sometimes he don't press the space. No, it's as if like, oh, you're not going to get a shot off, and it's like I do. It's unbelievable to watch. Don't get me wrong, but I think in that situation, he's got to get a lot tighter.
Touch on what you said there, Reece. Obviously, you're in the camp. It's a very good point. Danny, do you think it's 1 point gained or 2 dropped?
1 point gain, 100%. It's like, what makes me laugh is apparently we're supposed to be dropping off from this position, false position we're in, yet the general consensus is it's a great point for Liverpool now. And you're like, well, are we meant to be here or not? Because let's be right, they start the season, they're looking at it, Forest away, we're going to win it. Like, so for us, it's 100% a point. 1, we beat them, so they've got that against them, and then 2, they've come to our place and they haven't beat us. So it's a 1 point game massively for me. It's like, you look at it realistically, we could go on and beat Southampton on Saturday, which we hopefully should. They've got Brentford, who could be anything on the day. Let's be right, it can be anything on the day. They could go and turn them over, and then it's 1 point gained. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so for me, yeah, all day. But I'd have took that before a ball was kicked. I definitely took it before a ball was kicked. Like, we're not naive enough to think, oh yeah, it's only Liverpool. Like, we are where we are on merit, and it's a lot of hard work and a lot of graft, and that's what it took for us to get the point. So, yeah, for me, 1 point gain, 100%. It's a better point for us than it is for Liverpool, I think.
No, I think, yeah, in hindsight, I think once you take away this sort of possibility that this improbable scenario of Forest are perfect for the rest of the season, win every game and overcall Liverpool by, say, like 4 points, whatever it is. Yeah, I think when you look at it in the cold light of day, and I think it's an astounding effort. I think what Reece said is very true. You probably are looking at the best team in the world, and we made life hell for them. As the chance came down, we were in their heads, and which was, again, top marks for everyone who's done that was class. And yeah, not many teams to take 4 points off them. Had that been a European game, a knockout game, we go through ahead of them.
Yeah,
exactly. We beat them 2-1 over 2 legs, which no one is likely to do that this season. So yeah, I mean, yeah, outstanding point. And I think it really does sort of cement us. We were sort of saying, I know we were saying before the Luton game, Reece, if someone came in and said, here's a briefcase for Conference League, slap your hand off for it now, maybe we have to reassess those ambitions if we're going to be putting out performances like that, because everyone to a man yesterday for me was just phenomenal. The work rate was just off the scale. But
yeah, you can't fault them. They gave their absolute all, and if Liverpool would have nicked it 2-1 last night, no one could have come out that ground and says, well, we've not made it hard work for them, because they gave absolutely everything. I mean, to be honest, last 10 minutes, I think a few were probably struggling a bit, weren't they?
They look knackered. Yeah.
So, but yeah, they gave everything last night again for the team.
I suppose actually there is one more thing. This is just me nitpicking again because I said it to you before. Do you think Morata should come on a bit earlier? Because it did seem in the second half as if Liverpool were getting a lot of space. I feel like it would have been shut off if he was there, personally. But obviously it's easy to say in hindsight, isn't it? But what's your thoughts on that, both of you?
I think once Yates got that yellow, you'd probably be looking at to bring him off, because, like I say, it kind of stifles his game then, because they've obviously got, they had Gravenberch in there, who's been a revelation this season, Alexis McAllister and Szoboszlai, who can all get around, and so they've got kind of three in there, haven't they? It's always in hindsight, isn't it?
Easy to say, isn't it? Yeah.
It's one of them. Do you know, if we bring Morata on, and the odd fan might be like, oh, he's gone a bit negative and we're going to camp for half an hour, and they score 2 goals.
That's it. Yeah.
We say on the other hand, well, he should have left it as it is. So it's one of them. The reason why we concede is because we didn't deal with the set piece, is the truth, unfortunately.
Danny, anything to add?
Yeah, for me, I probably here on the side. Yeah, I think he could have probably done it a bit earlier. I thought second half. I thought he struggled second half. I thought it was either fouling or giving the ball away, and I think it could have made the change on 50 minutes. And I know it's like saying we'll camp, but we also have an outlet when we get to 5. It's not like we just sit far down.
Stop countering, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he could have. Yeah, for me, he could have made the change earlier, and he probably is thinking, "Oh, I should have made the change earlier," because it's not like we're not bringing Joe Worrell on, are we? Do you know what I mean? We're not bringing Joe Worrell on to go 5 at the back. We're bringing on a player who looks like one hell of a... I mean, I know we're only Luton, but Morris caused us loads of problems last season. And he was toying with him. And then, so yeah, for me, we could have. It could have done it earlier. Is it the biggest mistake? No, it's not. It is what it is. But if we are, like we say, nitpicking, yeah, for me, I think he could have changed it, dropped Gibbs White deeper. But like I say, we are where we are. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's wrong, this, that, and other, because... But yeah, if I'm being honest, yeah, for me, he could have maybe just made it a bit earlier, because it could have been done after, like you say, as soon as Yates got booked, or even at half time, he could have done it, and we couldn't. I don't think we'd have turned around and gone negative, because, like you say, the system we play, it's not really a -5. It's like we do look like a threat. So
definitely, yeah. No, I think it's just baffles me like how far we've come. Like, we're talking about nitpicking because we've conceded against Liverpool of all teams. I just don't want this roller coaster to stop, really. But let's go and see what you lot have been saying, and we'll get onto your slept on it for.
Red side of the Trent. Slept on it thoughts.
Right, we'll start with the 2 regulars who are not here. So we'll start with Lee. Lee said, probably my favourite City Ground night ever. Going full pelt with a top side and giving it a right good go. Sels awesome. Murillo scarily good. And what a finish from Wood. Superb. Only slight negative is why does Dominguez always seem to be the fall guy? We need to get him in the team. He's been integral to our good run of form. Adam said, draw was a fair result on reflection. Great chance taken by Woods. Felt Sels could have been stronger for Liverpool's goal, but he also gained us a point, so won't grumble too much. Murillo colossal. Our next step is being a little composed when we get our moments. 3 points on Sundays, please, Barman. And now over to comments. So David Bullen said the best comment is often provided by an opponent. A Liverpool podcast likened the game to playing away at Atletico Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League. We've gone toe-to-toe with the best with desire, passion and quality. We are still here. We are Nottingham. All that's had to say is, but do you know how good Chris Wood is? I bet you don't. Chris Wood, I didn't see it coming. I had my potential on you. I knew you had potential, but I didn't know how much you could. But if Chris Wood could, then Chris Wood would. Sign him up. Premier Elliott said, many say that Anfield has the best atmosphere. Behave. The City Ground noise from our home fans was extraordinary, as was our backline tonight. Today's fact is that in the 1980s, you could download video games over the radio. Snowboard Pete said, we've taken 4 points from 6 and others will struggle to get 1. Every player gave everything and every time getting quickly back into shape. It felt like having 11 leaders on the pitch, very rarely letting any decisions affect them. I can't pick out one player because they're all brilliant. Jono said, played the game exactly how we needed to. First half was near perfection. Was always going to open up a bit more in a second, and I could see the simple set pieces gutting. Every player was a 10, but Murillo, Sels and Williams were 11. We are genuine Champions League contenders. Havenosity in Function says, we're back, baby. Grit, determination, efficiency, a performance to be immensely proud of. Liverpool very dangerous. What is it about strikers with Jays and Forrests? Diogo Jota, Jordan Rhodes, George Leteo, cursed them all. Thomas Newton said, proud, immense performance by all. Fair result, in my honest opinion. Williams, Sels, Anderson, outstanding. Binit Patel said 2 words, Neco Williams, pocketed Salah the whole game. Josh Potts said, it's a mark of where we are as a club that I'm disappointed, but every single player left everything on the pitch last night. Murillo was a rock. Neco had his best game in a Forest shirt. Willie took his goal excellently. You Reds. Adrian Warren says, if we can find a beast to play in the 6 and a pacey striker who can finish, we might just hang around for 5th, but we must improve on our ability to keep the ball and control the game if we are to have European ambitions. But a first-class effort once again. Sels and Murillo were amazing. Mark Baker says, the belief, desire and unity of this team is exceptional. Honestly think if the referee was willing to book them as easily as us, we nicked the game. We're no longer being viewed as a plucky underdog. It's time to strengthen the squad and push on again. Carl Booth says, you'd have taken a point before kickoff, so nothing to be too disappointed about, apart from the man of the goal, really. But they are a very good side. We looked dead on our feet at the 80th minute. They dug in, still went free in Arnie's head. And last but not least, Jerry Pritchard said, resolute, disciplined and committed. Love it. Sels, Murillo, Neco and Anderson were just immense. It's the best attack in Europe. Great point. Thank you all, as always, for getting your steps on it thoughts in. And yeah, I suppose we'll look on to some player performances. So, Danny, I'm going to give you your favourite, Murillo.
Well, I don't know what I can say. I haven't said before. He's the best player I've ever seen at Forest, hands down. I don't think anyone comes close. I think I put a tweet out. It's defensively unbelievable. Like, I think his stats are the best in the league for like old school style defending, clearing, blocking, tackles. It's top of that. And then I'd say he's the most exciting player on a pitch on both sides when he plays. I'd pay the money I paid just to go and watch him. Like, he is that good. I mean, there was a point, let's get it right, like Salah is renowned for being absolutely rocks. That's so strong. He knocks anyone. He ragdolled him like a little lad. It was like you were playing with a 5-year-old. Like you're playing with your nephew on guard and he just knocked him out way, nick ball. And then he's got the cheek to try and score a goal from halfway line, as if it's nothing. And then, no, I honestly, I've been on about it, spoke to a few of my friends today about it. He's going to be one of the best centre-halves to ever play the game. Like, I'll say it, I do. Like, your Sergio Ramoses, Thiago Silva, these players, they all started somewhere. We're just lucky enough that this one's starting at our club. Like, he is that good. I don't know. I can't even pick a fault in him. And then yesterday, and he's doing it against Liverpool. He's doing it against everyone. Obviously, I know Milenkovic has come in and made that been a solid at the side of him. But yesterday was just on him for me. He would just sing and like I say, I could go on all day. He's just the best player I've ever seen at Forest. And I want him to stop as long as he can. And I'm not even thinking about him going anywhere because I can't yet.
It felt a bit like not sort of passing the torch, really. Obviously, with Des Walker coming out at half time, a lot of people have said that he's sort of the yardstick of sort of like elite. The elite central defender Forest had was probably Des Walker. It feels like he's the next one. It's mad to think that was over 30 years ago.
Well, my dad, he's of that era, and he said yesterday, come out the ground, and he spoke to a friend, one of his other mates, about the same age as him, and he just turned around to my dad, and they both says he's better than Des. He's better than Des, and that's that generation. They had that, don't they? They had the Collymores, they had the Walkers, they had the Psychos. Like they're now watching someone that's overtook that, and I think that's the thing now. It's like you're right. It's passed the torch on, but these are talking now. They're saying that he's not just as good as him. They're saying now he's better than him. I mean, I sat with a bloke at Brentford. Something happened. He turned around and he says, "Oh, says, what's gone off? He says, I was just watching Murillo. I've just been watching him all game. Like, that's what he does. He like just mesmerises people. It's just, yeah, I like him.
Never a guessed. Reece, I'm going to give you Elliot Anderson, who seems to be everywhere in the midfield.
I could have followed that. Jesus. I seen a few of my friends. I think it was Westy said that he was his man of the match last night. Yeah, like you said, I think it was the last pod or the pod before Premier League Jimmy Garner, and he gets around everywhere. He's tenacious. He can pass. He's full of energy, and he is a brilliant, just all-round centre midfielder. And he don't really care who's in there because, to be fair, like I watched their midfield last night, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch got really stuck in. And he loves it. He loves getting stuck in himself. So, yeah, just another great performance from him, and he's just one. As you see him in Murillo, you're just excited to see develop with us. And yeah, there might become a day where these type of players might go on to pastures new, but it won't be on the cheap. I can tell you that for sure. I know everyone's talking about maybe Murillo going next season, but someone's got to stump the cash up first because you're not gonna get him for like 50 odd million. It's going to be more towards the three figures. So yeah, but Anderson, yeah, brilliant last night. Really, really like him. And to say, I think most of the fan base didn't know much about him when we signed him in the summer. He's quickly become a fan's favourite, Elliot Anderson. So long may it continue.
Yeah, big time. He's, again, we keep saying it, don't we? I think it's just so unfortunate that the one-off night he's had in the last month came in front of Tuchel. Because I think he should be in firm contention to go in that England team. For me, in March, he really should be. The form he's on.
I'm sure Mr. Tuchel will be at the City Ground before March because obviously that was a holiday he wanted to see. I'm sure he might be there Sunday because obviously we'll have to see. But yeah.
You might well be indeed. Danny, I'm going to give you someone we've actually had like some agreement on and also both had to eat a fair bit of humble pie with, especially this season. And Neco Williams, who was outstanding, I thought. Again, I just find it so baffling how all of his weaknesses that he had in that first season at right back just don't exist when he plays a left back. It's so strange. But what do you think of how he plays?
Oh, outstanding. I thought it was his best game in the Forest shirt. It's one of them. It's like people will go, oh, yeah, I told you. It's not I told you shit. I told you so. It's playing at a level now, which is competing at. It was playing at a level before, which was nowhere near good enough. And people will go, oh, no, it was a scapegoat. It wasn't good enough at that time. It's come in for Moreno, and he's been outstanding. And I don't mind turning around and going, oh, he's been brilliant, because he has. Like, I can see it with my own eyes. Maybe it's that he's playing on his left, and a majority of right wingers are left footed, so you're defending on his stronger foot, and maybe it's that. But one thing I've noticed what he does under Nuno compared to Cooper is he gets tight to his man. He doesn't just let the ball just come into the box. I think the defenders tend to, Forest in general, under Nuno, they back themselves a bit more. They're not so cautious in them situations, and that is because he's quite erratic, and he's very aggressive in like the tackle. And I used to think a lot of the time he spent too much time on the floor. I thought he was sliding a lot. But at the minute, he just looks composed. He's there quicker, so he's not having to like rush to make mistakes better. I just think overall yesterday, if he's not at the side of Murillo, I'd probably go Anderson as well. Then it's a man of match performance against Salah, who people say probably the best foot player in the league. Although I don't think he's had a good game against Forest. If I'm honest, we seem to tend to do a job on
not
it.
Not the City Ground, no.
No, but no, I don't mind turning around like you say that humble pie because he's well deserving of his spot. Moreno's not taking it off him anytime soon because he's playing Irish play, and then fair play to him. Hats off. Do you know what I mean? It's all hard work that's got him there. But I always felt before it was a bit of it was like his hard work outweighed his actual ability, whereas now it's not. He's looking like a solid left back in Premier League. And I've spoke last time, maybe a month ago when I was on before about his new deal. Plays like that, yeah, sign him because he's going to play left back. But that's what that's what I needed to see before you commit to it, because I wasn't convinced before, but now I know. I think he's absolutely nailed on that position, and yesterday was definitely his best game for Forest. And I personally, I think he's got some strength to strength since he's gone in there. I don't think he's anything below a 7.
No, I'd agree with that. I think it's strange. He really seems to come on leaps and bounds with Nuno, which obviously is a huge benefit to Forest. And yeah, like I said, I never saw it in that first season. I think anyone did say they did see it. It's probably lying, apart from the odd game. But this season, especially, he's been immense at left back. I mean, Alex Moreno, we were all well excited when he came in, and obviously when he first started. Again, he locked Salah up at Anfield as well. Moreno, he's been really, really good. Williams has taken that form and gone up a level or two himself. It's certainly his shirt to lose. And yeah, I agree. Like, hopefully, so we were saying it's how quickly things can change in football, isn't it? A few months ago, we were saying about Atalanta coming in, can we get our money back? And now it's no, get a checkbook on the table and how much it to keep you here for a bit longer. So long may it continue. Reece, lastly, but by no means least, I'm going to give you Anthony Elanga, who made it 6 goal involvements in 6 games. Exquisite assists again. And yeah, again, I mean, you were quite hot on this one as well. Very quick to sort of say that people banging the drums, going overboard, saying he's had his head turned, saying that he's Alex Mighten 2.0. Maybe a bit too hasty of those words.
Well, yeah, people did go overboard, but that's social media for you, isn't it? We saw it probably this last week, where I think the general consensus on social media against Wolves was everybody was absolutely delighted for Taiwo to score. Now all of a sudden he's a donkey again. So no, this is what I mean with it. Like, you've seen Elanga last season, and you can clearly see he's got ability. He can, because of his pace. You know, we had this. I see in this notion of speedboat without a drive was being trotted out. Well, you know, that pass last night was, you know, something you probably expect of Morgan Gibbs White. You know what I mean? So he's a young player, and you just got to, at times, just get behind him, because you know, fair enough. I get it. If we're you know, stinking it out at the bottom of the league, fair enough. You know, you're probably going to get a bit more stick, or you are. But when we're in the position we are, you know, and there was a period where most fans were saying, you know, get Jota Silva in over him. He's far better than Jota Silva. I'm sorry, because he's just a lot more accomplished player, and I like Jota Silva as well. But so I'm just so glad he's in such good form at the minute. You know, if it's not an assist, it's a goal. If it's not a goal, it's an assist. So, you know, keep it coming. I think that front four's nailed on, isn't it? The whole team's nailed on. The only discussion really is the other centre mid alongside Anderson. I think no other position you can really argue, to be honest, at the minute. So hopefully we can just, you know, keep these players fit, and yeah, obviously Jota and Sousa, who obviously the backups, can provide the competition and come on in the latter stages and that. But yeah, the pass last night was sensational. You know, obviously come up against Virgil van Dijk into that run earlier, where I think when I was looking at him there, I thought Van Dijk's going to take this off him. You know what I mean? He's probably got to he'll probably think, oh, if I try and knock it by him, he'll probably catch up with me because he's that ridiculous. So, but yeah, Elanga, so pleased for him that he's turned it around. And, you know, I'm sure now if Newcastle banged, you know, the money they was talking about in the summer on the table, I think a lot of the fans who said they'd get rid of him in a heartbeat would probably be thinking otherwise now.
Would agree with that, yeah. And also, one thing I think is worth mentioning, and you touched on this point too, is that those who are thinking the point's a bit disappointing, I think what became a very good point became an even excellent point when you look at the outright entitled fume from the Liverpool fans. Some of the things I've seen today, it rivals, I was saying to mates earlier, do you remember when we beat Newcastle 2-1 and they had 2 red cards? Shelby was one of them.
Shelby and Dummett, I think.
Yeah, Bentner scored the winner, didn't he? And their fans went absolutely ballistic at full time and started demanding that the match be replayed, and they were trying to get replay the match trending and this, that and the other. It was very pathetic. This is probably the second biggest meltdown I've seen since then. I just can't believe it. What do they expect? Do they honestly expect that teams just roll the red carpet out and be like, oh yeah, we'll be like Norwich or Russell Martin's side or Sheffield United, we'll let you win 5-0 and go home? Like, are we meant to just like not win football matches because you won a European Cup 4 decades ago? Is that what we're meant to be
exactly
doing?
what they expect. But I don't.
Right.
And the 6 points clear of the game in hand. For them, yeah, I'm sure if you had a quiet word with Slot and Nuno off the pitch last night and said shake hands and take a point, I think they probably would have both moved on away from it. Especially them, you know, because the 6 points clear of the game in hand. They win that game in hand at Goodison, they'll win the league, guaranteed. If they go 9 clear, they'll win the league. If they don't, if they lose, then it's game on for anybody who wants to take it. But I think if they win that game in hand, I'm not sure when it is at Goodison.
Mid-February now.
Interesting. Okay, and they go 9 clear. I think that I can't see them being caught. And so they don't need. They're in a great position. You know, it's not a disaster for them last night. Point. We've gained nothing on them. They've got the lead, so you know. But
I think we was good for it.
Yeah,
good for it as well. It's like when people, when it makes me laugh when people say, "Oh yeah, they were lucky." I'm like, no, you pay a keeper to save shot, you pay your defenders to defend. We did it well. How is that like? What is the lucky thing? We surrender possession because we're good without it. How is it lucky? How is it wrong? It's like I don't get the consensus that they were lucky. The keeper's made some world. He's made 2 great saves. Other than that, it's all routine. And then it's like, what was lucky about it? Your defenders defend, your keepers kept it out, your midfielders battle, your attackers countered and literally made it 3 passes, split you open and scored. That's the way we play football.
I think
there's just too much emphasis on stats nowadays, and it's someone. Yeah. And Simon Jordan mentioned this on TalkSPORT this morning. He said if you looked at the stats, he said you'd probably think, oh God, Liverpool have battered them. But he says actually watching the game, he says like, you know, Forest, like obviously on the counter was always a threat. We took our one chance superbly. You know, it's not our fault they missed loads of chances.
No. It was only really the last half an hour really where they started to play like the Liverpool that we've seen all season as well. They were very limited. And that was against a tired Forest back line at that point too. So it just makes me laugh how entitled they are. It's always been this way as well. It's why I'm kind of hoping, you know, there's still plenty of twists and turns yet to come, and who knows, it still may be our name being engraved in the trophy come May. We'll see. But before then, though, I would like to talk to you. Obviously, there's been an update from Florian Plettenberg, who obviously works for Sky Germany, who seems to think that West Ham, they've been linked with every striker going at the minute, but they have seemingly up their interest in Taiwo Awoniyi again. That maybe infers that Forest have a replacement in mind. So I guess my question to you is, because Danny, I'm glad you mentioned this on social media actually, because we all saw Taiwo's like soccer aid like touch that ruined a counter attack and went out for a throw in, and we all called it out for what it was. But as you touched upon, Danny, not many people have highlighted the fact that about 30 seconds later, kick comes up, he's got a man on him, he takes the ball down, holds off another player, wiggles some space, struggles on both sides, and then finds feet. That's seemingly forgotten. So for me personally, I haven't changed my view from last week. I would still prefer to keep him and assess at the end of the season because I still think there's a lot to offer. But what do you two think? Would you catch him now and get someone else, or would you?
For me, I mean, I'm a massive Taiwo fan, so I wouldn't want to see him go at the minute. I look at it. People keep jumping on the bandwagon, like you say, like what about that? I'm sure his instructions yesterday were, we are 1-0 down. It's 1-0. Go and see the game out. Go and see the game out. Nuno's not going to turn around and go and win us the game. He's not. He's going to say, go and see the game out. That's his remit. It's come on. He's done it. Everton, exactly the same. 2-0 up. Woods had a bit of a battering from centre-halves. Just go on and just make yourself a nuisance and see the game out. Sticks both centre-halves on their arse. After 2 minutes, they don't want to go near him. Look like a threat. Wolves gets a goal. Luton has led the line. We've won 2-0. Yeah, he didn't score against him. But what makes me laugh is Wood come on that game, and Wood's been outstanding. Wood come on against Luton. First thing he did, he got ball, passed it straight out for a throw-in. But no one, like, it's fine because, and I get it, he's not the prettiest on the eye. So for me, unless we've got a ready replacement, and I mean, I listened, Gary Birtles touched on it. we're going to have the person that's going to come in, it's got to be better than Taiwo, but it's got to be happy to sit on the bench. And it's like, so where do we stand? It's like, do we stick with him? And at the end of the day, Wood will play 90% of the rest of the games. So his role at the minute, he can fulfill it. Taiwo can. He can give you 10 minutes. He can give you 15 minutes. It's like he's not come on against Everton yesterday and had to see the game out. He's come on against Liverpool. No, at the minute, unless we've got something, and I can't even. Who can you think of off the top of your head who we're going to be going for? Because I can't. Like, I can't think of a player, a striker, who we can turn around and go, he's going to be better than Taiwo. He's going to be better than him. Because the fact is, he's scored 17 goals in Premier League. I think you said it. He's played 2.5 games. He's played combined 2.5 games this season. Granted, he's not the player he was. He isn't. But then if there was the player there was, Wood wouldn't be playing because he was one of the best strikers in the league at the time. So, for me, unless we've got a ready replacement, we don't get rid of him. And even then, it's like, looking forward, we're going to need more than just another and Taiwo. So, another if Taiwo goes, just one other. We're going to need two. So, at the minute, unless there's one ready to come in, which we don't know. I mean, they always pull something out, don't they? But for me, no, he stops. And I'd be happy to see him stop till the end of the season, like you've just said for me. Yeah, 100%. And I'd be confident he'll get probably another 2, maybe 3 goals.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Reece, about yourself?
Yeah, it is an interesting one. It's Pete David Sullivan, isn't it? He just loves bidding for strikers and usually dies where he bids. I think he basically, according to TalkSPORT, bid for John Duran and knowingly that it would get rejected just so the West Ham fans think he's doing something, which I did chuckle at earlier. I think obviously be what we want, which has been trotted out of that 20 million. I think if West Ham were to get to that, then I think that is, like I said on the last part, a decent offer. And I think one I'd be willing to accept, but my stance hasn't changed. We can't sell him and not bring someone in. I mean, I know there's some fans suggesting that, but I think that's crazy in my opinion. So unless we've got somebody lined up who, because 20 million for, it's 3 million profit in terms of what we brought him for. He's probably on the balance sheet about £8 million. So if you get 10 million profit on him, I think that's a pretty good deal. But we need somebody else, and it needs to be somebody else who's ready as well, because there is going to be times where Wood will have to come off, and there might be a time where Wood might be out, and then they're going to be in the team. So yeah, it's one of them for me. If we've got someone lined up and then we get good money for him, fair enough. But I wouldn't let him go unless we've got someone lined up. And if he does go, he can leave with his head held high, because his goals in that first season is a part of the reason why we had a night like last night, because he kept us up that first season, amongst others. Brennan Johnson, the bit of Gibbs White, there have been others as well. Felipe I mentioned too. But his goals at the back end of that season got us over the line, didn't it? And he still even scored 6 goals in 20 games last season, which isn't bad. Translates to about, 11 if he played the full season. So he probably would have got double figures. So, yeah, my stance is the same. I think the money, if West Ham offer 20 million, I'd be inclined to accept it, but on the basis that we've got someone lined up to come in and be ready to take over from him, personally.
Yeah, I think the risk element to me is what puts me off, just because given what we've got at the minute, I don't really want to upset that or change that balance, because it's clearly working. Whatever we have is clearly working. And, like you said, if anything, we need to add another striker rather than go, let's sell him to buy someone else, because, like I said, because if Wood does get injured, then it's just Taiwo. Then what? Is it Jota Silva up front, maybe? You're clutching a little bit then, aren't you? So you need, we need to be adding a striker rather than even thinking about selling. But we'll have to see what happens.
The other thing is as well, obviously, we still, I know we've obviously passed it, and as has everybody else by hook or crook, but PSR is always going to be an issue in the Premier League. You've probably got to look at a deal if it does get you 10 million profit. It's something what is good for us. Forest might think, well, it's kind of a double-edged sword. They might think, well, we get 10 million profit on what he is on the balance sheet, which is obviously good towards PSR. Would we get out at the end of the season? Maybe not. But it's just getting that balance. But look, the club's recruited well this season, so we'll leave it with the club and they'll know what's best to do, hopefully. And let's hope we're not going to have like we did back in the past when we signed Bong and Da Costa, I think, than they had done. So I think, like I said a few weeks ago, I think it'd be, if we do bring a striker in, I think it's going to be someone young, probably from South America, up and coming. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. It's like we like to say, it's if there's a replacement, if we get 20 million and there's a replacement there, yeah, I think it's right. But it's like, if I says to you now, we don't bring a replacement in, who would you rather leave the line other than Wood? Everyone's picking the one, you surely, in the club. Do you know what I mean? That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, I know some people have got this opinion, and it's fans entitled to whatever opinion. That'd be crazy just to leave Wood, because you know what would happen then? The same people who were saying who's got rid of him would get injured and be like, oh, I got a striker.
Exactly.
Such is football's fickleness.
Okay, I'm not. Yeah, it's certainly the way. We'll see. I think the window closes. I've just been Googling it. It closes on, bizarrely, the 3rd of February this week. It's a Monday. So it's not the 31st as it is normally, which is rather bizarre. But yeah, so we've still got 2.5 weeks to go see how things pan out. But yeah, that one doesn't look like it might be happening. I saw as well on Sky saying that we'd be looking to accept offers for O'Brien, who I thought had gone permanently anyway, to be honest, to America, Omamabadele and Toffolo, which, again, obviously he's out of contract this summer, isn't he? So I suppose that kind of makes a bit of sense. But again, we'll have to see. It could be a busy 2.5 weeks, Tony Forrest, but we will see. But up next in the immediate short term anyway, we have Southampton on Sunday. Obviously, they play tomorrow, so we actually get a couple of days rest on them. They have Man United, I think, away, which I wouldn't be surprised if they got something there, to be honest. But what's your thoughts going into the head? I'll start with you, Danny.
I think it's a game we can win. I think it's a game we expect to win. Like I say, the fact they're playing Thursday, so they're travelling all the way up to Manchester to then, I imagine, come back down to Southampton to then go back up to Nottingham. Always pick, they're the little advantages that you like, them fine margins that come in. So I expect us to go same formation. I'd probably stick Dominguez in over 8 personally, and then I think we could be comfortable beating them. I mean, when we went to their place, it was comfortable. Never looked like a threat, and they've not improved, have they? They don't. I mean, who has he made much of a difference? The new manager, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's made much of a difference. So it's a game. It's a game where in the past they look like banana skins, but with this side, your likes of Milenkovic's, they're not going to turn around and be like, oh, it's only Southampton. We know they're not. So, no, I think it's a game we can go and win. And if we do go, like, that's the thing we've got to start doing now, which we have been doing. We've picked a good point against Liverpool. We go and beat Southampton. It's a better point. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, for me, I'm confident we'll get a win. I don't expect nothing other than a win, especially with the side we've got at home. But I'm looking forward to it. Fair, cracking game.
No, definitely, yeah. Race about yourself. I think do you get sort of like Leeds and Charlton vibes from this? So you sort of looking at
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
So we're going to drop Nico Williams for Gaten Bong then, and then Chris Wood, we're going to put a Sapro song up front or something.
Carl Jenkinson, I think, will come in as well.
Yeah. Why did he do that? It's still great. Great something now you mentioned that. Yeah, Lyle Taylor Masterclass, and we signed him on the back of that, and he was.
We did, yeah. Was it I think as well.
Freezing.
Well, I think I'm just looking at their results. They've lost every Premier League. I think they've had 3 games under this Joric guy. I don't know much about him. So they lost to West Ham 1-0, lost away at Palace 2-1, and then they got hammered at home by Brentford 5-0. And Brentford have been dire away from home. They had one in the FA Cup against Swansea at the weekend, but you can't read much into that. I'd be very, very surprised if they got anything at Old Trafford last night. I know tomorrow night. I know United are interesting, but we've started to turn a little corner, I guess. I think Man U will probably beat them at home. So I'm not going to say winnable game, Elliot, but I've got a new term. It's a more favourable game to win. How about that one? Because I looked at the odds earlier and Southampton are 6-1 and we're like 1-2, which I'd never thought I'd see in the Premier League for us. So yeah, it's a game. I agree with Danny. I'd probably bring in Dominguez for Yates. Get us a bit more on the front foot because we are going to have naturally more of the ball on Sunday. You'd expect, and just kind of take it to them really. And if we do that and we play as we have been, we'll beat them. Simple as that. Because they're pretty awful. Because we actually are a little bit concerned they could beat Derby's record at this rate. So yeah, I'm pretty confident we'll win on Sunday.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Derby. Actually, it was quite interesting that both East Midlands teams had a 1-1 draw last night. Just one was against Liverpool, one was against Leighton Orient before losing on penalties. So
play Manchester City.
Yeah, how things change.
Yeah, funny. Crazy.
No, I think I agree. I think we should win that game. I agree with what Danny said too. With people like Milenkovic on that side, they won't be going into this thinking, "Oh, it's only Saints, they're crap. We'll roll these." They'll go into it with like the utmost professionalism and like sincerity. So I do. They have a head switch. I think if we have our heads switched on and we keep doing what we're doing, we should win that game. Probably have to go 2-0 at least. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. But we will have, I believe, we'll look to have a preview for you. I think Adam wants to do a preview with Lee before the game, so that'll be coming out fairly soon. And then we'll have our usual review. It'll be on Monday. Of course, it's a Sunday 2:00 game, isn't it? Of course, Southampton. Yeah. So yeah, we'll be back with you on Monday to talk to you about that. But until then, enjoy the lofty heights of second until Arsenal play Tottenham. I mean, by the time you listen to this, if you're audio listeners, it may have already happened. But for video listeners, enjoy being second for at least another hour or so. And yeah, come on, you Reds.